I guess Lindsay here with Storybook Family Farm. So I realized the other day that I actually forgot to make an 11-month update video for the things that we've been doing on our new homestead. And while those videos don't tend to be very popular for people to watch, it is really nice for me and Tracy to actually sit down and be able to have these videos that we can go back through and look and see, like, to basically document our journey of the things that we've done and the time frame that it's taken us to do these things. So that's why I didn't skip it, even though I have other stuff that I'd much rather talk about. This is kind of a thing of my future self will be very grateful that I discussed this stuff. Um, so, um, in the past month, at the 10-month update, I had actually talked about that I really needed to like get more organized and stay more focused because I was having a hard time keeping track of everything that I had to do. And there was some really good suggestions of, trying to create a planner, to create a journal, and all that stuff to try to really like focus on different things. And guys, I really tried. I tried to stay more focused, but it didn't work. Like, because everything with a homestead, especially when you're reestablishing one and you're creating one and stuff, it's very much of just going with the flow of the season. So when we've had these big cold snaps, all of a sudden I found myself just trying to work on projects in the house. And then when it gets nicer out and it's warmed up, then I try to spend every ounce of my time outside doing things and absorbing the sunlight and trying to basically stave off seasonal depression. So things have still been scattered. I'm kind of disappointed because I'd really was like, okay, yeah, these are some good suggestions. I'll create a planner and I'll try to create a weekly plan of what I want to do this week. It didn't work. I just got scattered and just went and stuff and just pulled into a million different directions. But I was productive, so I mean, there is that. I finished reading a book, which was a really good book, actually. It was called The Women-Powered Farmer, something of the sort like that. So if you are a female and you are like starting a homestead or a homestead business type thing, I really recommend that book. I'd gotten it at Ollie's and it was only like $5. So I'm sure like on thrift books, you could probably get it for really super cheap. So if you guys are interested in more information about that book, I can comment it down and stuff. So that way you guys can see what it was that I read. But even if you're not a chick, like, there was some really good practical advice about like viewing your farm as a business and stuff, and looking at different business ventures to do and figuring out like to really like look critically at what you're doing to see what it is that you enjoy, what you don't enjoy, what's profitable, what's not profitable and stuff. So it really gave me an opportunity to sort of dive deep into looking at our farm, looking at our farm business and stuff to figure out what it is that I like, what I don't like, and what actually works for us. So that was nice. And there's also a lot of discussion too about setting things up to make it so that way it's a more efficient run thing. So it was very nice that we're still in the building out stages of this homestead. So it's really nice to be able to look at somebody that has been doing this for a lot longer, that has their farm established and had to redo a bunch of stuff, to basically glean from their advice of what to do and what not to do so you don't make the same mistake. So it's very nice. Anyways, so in doing that, I've been really trying to focus in on trying to make our normal day-to-day life on the homestead to be much more efficient. That is why I spent a lot of energy in this past month actually putting up fencing that goes around the perimeter line of our property, so then that way the turkeys and the chickens, they stay home, so we don't have to keep having to stop doing what we're doing throughout the day to chase them back onto our property, because I believe that I am called to raise farm animals, but I don't think that all my neighbors have the same calling as I do and stuff, so I'm not going to force that on anybody else because they're mine. They're my responsibility. So we've been doing a lot of that. We've also been basically walking around in the woods to figure out which trees to cut down that are diseased or are sickly or are dying or just in a really bad space. So that way we can cut them down to get them prepped so that way we can have firewood for next year. So my dad is actually coming out tomorrow to help cut down some of the trees that we have marked, because he's much more experienced with felling trees than I am. I've done, I think, probably like 10 small trees in my life. And I would say that all of them actually are from here. So I do not have that much experience, and these are larger trees that I feel comfortable and confident in taking down myself. So that'll be nice to have him to be able to come out and help. So then we can get quite a bit more firewood stacked up, cut up, piled up, ready to go. So then it can start working on seasoning, so that it can be burned. We are pretty low on firewood for this year, but I've been working on cutting up that locust tree that had fallen down in a windstorm. So that's giving us, making it so we have plenty to get through for this season. Hopefully, according to the forecast, the next couple weeks are actually supposed to stay pretty mild and pretty nice. So that'll be really nice because we won't have to have a fire as much. We won't have to burn through as much wood. Because with doing the wood burner, it's really good at making the house warm, but it's not good if it's not super cold out and you're trying to just warm up the house a little bit, because we keep waking up with like being profusely sweaty and uncomfortably hot and stuff throughout the night. So it's kind of a sucky part about burning wood, is that it does have a tendency to get a little too warm, but it is what it is. It's nice to have the somewhat free heat. It's only somewhat because we had to buy the wood burner and the piping, and that was expensive. But so beyond that, we've been working on getting chicks hatched out. We do have our brooder box that is full with, I think we have 12 chicks in there. I think that's what Tracy said there was. She's really good at remembering numbers of things. I'm not. Like, my brain does not work well with numbers. So if you guys see me going, how many do we have again? I usually have to sit there and like count back because I cannot remember the number of animals that we have. I can remember all their names, like, but the numbers, not so much. So we actually do have our new incubator filled up with a whole bunch of chicken eggs. So we can get a feel for the new one and figure out what we like about it, what we don't like about it and stuff. But we are actually getting ready this weekend, we're going to put some duck eggs in the second incubator that we have. Just because those do take a long time to hatch out. They take, I think it's 28 to 31 days to be able to go from start to finish with hatching them out. So that'll put us, at the end of March-ish, that those will be hatching. So we'll have the brooder available and stuff. And hopefully we'll have like a little brooding area set up in the lean-to area of the barn, just so that way we don't have to have the ducks inside. Raising ducklings, it is very stinky, very messy, very gross. It is not a fun endeavor. So hopefully we'll have something set up that's not inside the house, or at least we can do something in the basement maybe, just so we don't have all of the mess right on the main level of the house. And then with talking about the main level of the house, we did actually, if you've seen yesterday's video, I showed that we made a supply run at Menards, and we've actually started working on renovating the living room, which is, we always had said it from the get-go of us getting this house that would probably be the last room that we got done, because it has been a catch-all since we moved in, because it's the first room you walk into whenever you walk into the house. And when we first bought the place, we didn't have a back door, so we had actually added the back door. So it was basically, you walked up all 11 steps to get up to the front door and basically set all your boxes down in there. And that's pretty much just been what it stayed as, is just a place to store stuff, a place to sit down, and a place to watch a little bit of TV, which we only got our TV on a Black Friday deal. So we've lived for quite a long time without having a TV and stuff in the living room. But besides that, it's really nice to actually have been able to shuffle all the boxes of stuff that still hasn't been put away, that hasn't found a space yet. It was really nice to actually start shuffling all of that out of there, but consequently, it just went to the dining room. So that way I can actually get things started, working on taking down the trim boards and stuff on the wall, so I can then work on putting up paneling to make it look nicer in there. So I did actually get a good bit of electrical work done yesterday up in our room, which was actually really quite challenging and quite difficult to do, because this house is very old. There's not a record of when it was built, but it was somewhere around 1920, 1930-ish is my assumption. And underneath of all the drywall, there was like 1-inch thick hardwood, like, I don't know how to describe it. It was like a wood paneling, but kind of like more like, if you watch the show Fixer Upper, how they are obsessed with doing like the shiplap and stuff. It was like a really heavy duty thick shiplap and stuff that I'm sure if I took all the drywall off, it'd probably be really pretty, but I'm not about to do all that. That's craziness. But anyways, so it was really hard to cut through all of that to run the wiring. So yeah, on this next month, looking forward, what I want to accomplish actually is I'm actually going to try to push really hard to focus on staying in the house and working on things in the house, despite it being really nice outside. And I love to be outside, and it also helps stave off seasonal depression for me to be outside as much as possible. I honestly think that the best use of my time right now is to just a bus going down the road. That's kind of weird. It's not a school bus time. But so I am actually going to try my best to stay focused more on doing things inside of the house, simply because of the fact that in the next month or so, it is actually going to be time to start working on planting things, to starting seeds. We actually probably should start the tomatoes and pepper seeds really soon, but with having everything from the living room put in the dining room, kind of makes it so we can't start seeds and put them in the dining room right yet. So we might be a little bit behind on that this year. I'm not sure. So in the next month, I do plan on trying to get as much stuff done with the house as possible. Whenever we first bought this place, I'd actually told Tracy that I figured it'd probably take me a year to get the house, pretty well done, and to get the outside area of the homestead stuff pretty well set up and accomplished. And I would honestly say that we're kind of right on track, even though it might not seem like it, to you guys, because there is still a laundry list of things that need done in the house. A lot of it is just tying up loose ends and finishing things out, like finishing the flooring in the kitchen and dining room and bathroom and living room, because we're going to do the same flooring throughout the whole thing. And then also doing some trim painting upstairs, because upstairs all that really needs done is trim painting. We have to fix our bedroom ceiling from when the roof leaked, and I have to paint ceilings upstairs. Like, there really isn't much to do upstairs. And then unpack boxes and get it organized, because that has not been a priority at all with this. We've been basically off to the races since we got this place, and unpacking boxes of books and stuff has just been not important. Plus, I have to build bookshelves in order for us to unpack the boxes. So yeah, that might be next year's project. I don't know. But so in terms of having the homestead set up, we actually have pretty much everything in place now and set up, since I got that fence up along the perimeter and everything. Like, that was a big thing that we had planned on this spring, was probably going to take us a week or two to do. But because I was able to do it before all the spring happenings happened, it only took me a few days to do it instead. And it's made it so that way we have so much more time and things freed up, because we also trimmed the pine trees, which was a springtime job. We cleared out a bunch of really tall brush and grass that was also, we thought it would be a springtime job, but the way this winter has been, we were actually blessed to be able to do it all this winter instead of having to wait until, the really busy season of the homestead. So when we actually got, in this past month, we got the garden beds all completely ready to go. So we have all of the spent hay and the goat manure and the chicken manure. That's all on there. It's ready to go. So that'll definitely be really nice for in garden season, to just pull it away, use it as mulch, and just plug everything in. So this year's garden should be a lot better than last year's, because the first year of a garden on a new place, it is kind of like watching a train wreck happen very slowly in front of you. You're learning essentially what the soil's got on its own without you doing much to it. And the geese just now realized I was sitting here. They're, way over yonder, but yeah, they gotta get their 2 cents in. So the first year of doing a garden on a new place, or in an existing place, if you're just starting out a new garden, no matter how experienced of a gardener you are, it is pretty much just learning. We'll just say it as that. It's not failing, it's learning. Learning what your soil is capable of, learning where areas stay wet for too long, learning what does well where, and just in general learning. That's one of the nice things about gardening, is no matter how many years you've done it and how experienced you are at it, you're constantly, each year, each season will teach you something new and teach you something different. So that is definitely a nice thing, to basically keep failing forward and stuff with growing things. So that's nice. That's neat. The other big thing too that has happened in the past month, it actually happened yesterday. A lot happened yesterday, actually. You can tell, full moon, things are moving. But so yesterday we actually got word back in, let me rewind, back in, I think it was the end of August, somewhere around in there, August, September time, somewhere in there. We had to get our septic inspected by the county, because the house was vacant for so long when we bought it. They couldn't inspect it before we moved in. So back then, the septic got inspected and it failed miserably. So, not like anything like, it failed. Like, there's not like turds floating through the yard or anything like that, but it definitely failed. So the guy had told us from the county, don't freak out about it, don't stress out, don't worry yourself about it because of the fact that there are grants through the county that can help pay for it. But we found out yesterday that the county is actually going to be able to pay for 100% of the new septic, or whether it's a replacement or repair. Either way, the county is actually going to pay for 100% of the fix. So that is something that is hugely, like a huge weight that's been taken off of our shoulders, because we've been really stressed out because, like, even on the paper it says that the average cost for repair / replacement of a septic system is anywhere from $11,000 to $30,000. So we've been kind of sweating bullets because, like, as you guys know, when we bought this place, it cost us literally every penny that we had. So we were kind of have been sweating bullets now for the last 6 months, waiting to find out, like, were we going to be able to get any help through the county to pay for the septic. And this is just, it's a huge weight taken off of our shoulders to not have to worry about that at all. Plus two, then, we know that it's up to code and it's in good working order and stuff. But the downside to that is we already have like some fruit trees and berry bushes that we planted when we first got here that I'm probably going to have to move. So hopefully we'll find out in the next couple of weeks, hopefully, of when this is going to take place. Tracy has to call the county today to confirm that we want them to pay for the septic, which who wouldn't, like, just be silly and stuff. But from there, we'll find out like when things are going to be able to get set up and that sort of a thing. But so that means that where the septic's at now is actually where we had put our orchard, had started our orchard at. And it is away from the leach line where we put the trees at, but I don't know what kind of equipment they're going to have to bring in here. I don't know what all they're going to have to do. I don't know if even we're going to have to move parts of our garden to accommodate them putting in a new leach line and or new septic tank. So it's kind of, everything's kind of up in the air. So that's part of why too I want to focus really on the inside of the house, because I know how I am, that I get so excited once it starts becoming like springtime and the grass starts looking green instead of like, like it's dying and stuff. I get so excited that I just want to plant stuff and I just want to go and I want to do stuff. So I know that it'd be kind of a big mistake if I went out and started planting a whole bunch of random stuff that can be planted now and everything, because chances are I would have to move them all over again, and I don't want to deal with that. So a lot of plotting, a lot of planning has to go down in the next month, and I can do all that stuff while I'm working on stuff with the house. So I'm actually very, very super excited to get to making more progress with the house, because this has been such a big monstrosity of a project to work on the house and on the outside that it's been basically feeling like I've had to tear myself in two to try to focus on the outside and the inside all at the same time, to try to bring it all back up to decent working status, I suppose, and so that way it's not a big bunch of safety hazards. So yeah, it's been real, and it ain't been very fun for the most part. There's been some fun stuff, but for the most part it's been a booger. Definitely do not recommend buying a fixer-upper of a homestead, living in it while fixing it, while also building a homestead out. That is just, and also running a small business. That is kind of a lot to do all at one time. Like in hindsight, I probably would have tried to figure out things to scale back. But that'll probably be next month's video that we talk about that, because that'll be 1 year since we've owned this place. So yeah, I'm going to end this here because I actually have a few things that I got to do, and I've probably got another video that I want to talk about things that are not update related. So if you guys are enjoying this content, please give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends on social media, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to help us grow. We'd greatly appreciate it. All right, thanks for watching. Have a good one, guys.